So I think the calculation is, here in Ed Schultz and commentary, that the much anticipated political takedown of Hillary Clinton just did not happen. Does this politically damage the Republicans in any way, or is there anything gained in any way? Let's get the conservative take. Let's go to Genevieve Wood, who is with the Heritage Foundation. She is a senior fellow in communications. Genevieve, good to have you with us.
Good to be on, Ed.
All right, give me some issues that, from a conservative perspective, that came out of 11 hours of hearings yesterday that we didn't have before.
Well, I think what we didn't know before, or maybe I should say what we suspected before that I think was actually confirmed, is that Hillary Clinton did know these attacks in Benghazi specifically were not caused by a video, even though that is what she told the American people. I think that was clear both in the emails that revealed that she sent to her family, an email to the Egyptian prime minister, an email to the Libyan president. So that was new information, not new in terms of what people actually thought probably happened. That's long been suspected, but I think those emails confirm that.
Okay, so that would categorize Hillary Clinton in conservative terms as a liar to the American people. Is that the mission there?
Well, I think the mission was, why did you tell the American people one thing while behind the scenes you were telling other foreign leaders and your own family an entirely different story? Why did you tell the American people that?
Well, let me offer this. Sometimes in the military, it's on a need-to-know basis. And in diplomacy and in world news, until leaders are all on the same page, it's a need-to-know basis. Nothing was hurt by the American people not knowing exactly all the details right away. And there was video, and there were demonstrations happening all over the world that were playing into the high emotions of people that were dealing with attacks. So why? I mean, that just seems like such a thin line that the conservatives are trying to stand on to take down Hillary Clinton.
Well, but Ed, I don't think that puts it in the exact right light. I mean, we're not talking about just a couple of different stories here. This is a big difference between a video and a planned terrorist attack, especially in a country where, prior to that time, things apparently were fine. Libya was going to be considered a success story. I mean, let's just keep in mind, while you're saying that the Republicans, what they're doing now is political, I would argue that the fact that we were in September of 2012, which happened to be an election year, coming up in just 2 months for President Obama, there were some politics going on between the White House and the State Department and how they wanted the public to view this issue.
All right. The next thing that jumped at me was this fascination with the friendship between Sidney Blumenthal and Hillary Clinton. You have friends, I have friends. This was pointed out on the panel yesterday. We get emails all the time.
Yeah.
It seemed like the Republicans on the panel yesterday were trying to make this connection that Sidney Blumenthal was some kind of special envoy or some kind of secret agent. Yet there were no emails anywhere to show that Hillary Clinton was definitely using any information he got as gospel.
Well, I think there were two things going on, maybe what you just said, but I think also trying to drive home the point, and I think a couple of lines of questioning went at this, that Sidney Blumenthal had no problem getting direct contact with Hillary Clinton on the issue of Libya, and she was having exchanges back and forth with him on policy and so forth. Fine. I think the issue that was the kind of point that was trying to be made is, however, our very own ambassador was not getting that kind of attention.
But Genevieve, there was no...
State, and he paid his wife for it.
Okay, well, now, wait a minute now. There was no effort on record showing that Chris Stevens was trying to get a hold of Hillary Clinton, the Secretary of State.
But as we now know, he didn't have her personal email, which apparently is how Hillary was mostly conducting business at the time. So, Sidney Blumenthal's got it. Fine, you're right. Friends should have emails. But the ambassador doesn't have it. He's made 600 requests that go into her State Department that she's running at the time, and those don't get answered. And to me, Ed, that's the much bigger problem. Look, is Hillary Clinton going to go to jail for anything that was said yesterday? I don't think so.
No, she's not going to jail.
And I don't ever think that I thought she did something that deserved that. The question is, was she doing a good job running the State Department? Well, that was my question.
That's what this whole thing is about, is that the conservative movement in this country is trying to paint Hillary Clinton as someone who can't take or won't take the 3 a.m. phone call, who doesn't know what to do in a crisis, who doesn't manage her department very well, who is incompetent and doesn't know what's going on. Okay.
Well, no, listen, I think that may have come out of some of yesterday. I don't think that was the intent. I think the intent was to get to the bottom of why were things run like they did, and why did no one pay a price? No one at the State Department to this day lost their job over the fact of what happened in Benghazi. I think most Americans would think that is more than a shame, that something should have been done about that.
Okay, so
they should have come clean with the public.
Who should lose their job? Admiral Mullen? The national security people?
Well, there are probably a number of folks.
But when this attack was taking place, everybody was in on the loop. The geography and the logistics made it impossible for the United States to respond. And I think the secretary made the case yesterday that we have diplomats in those kind of situations right now all over the world. We got 270 embassies or facilities around the world that are in countries that aren't all properly guarded. Why isn't that a good enough answer?
Because it wasn't just like one day before the attack, Ambassador Stevens asked for additional security. This had been going on for months. So I'm not saying that we had to have, the 82nd Airborne over there. But this wasn't just about how did we respond as soon as the attack happened. It's what led up to that. Why were we in such a poor position in the first place? I think that's the larger question.
What about the scope of the questioning? I mean, would you admit that there were some irrelevant questions that were asked by the panel yesterday?
Well, I'm going to be very honest with you. I did not get to watch all 11 hours. I watched about 4.5 and then had to read some other accounts of it. Look, sure. I think when you're trying to get to the bottom of something, there may be some questions that aren't considered as pertinent as others. But on the whole, I thought the questioning was good.
Okay. Genevieve Wood, good to have you with us. Heritage Foundation. Thanks for your time. You bet.